Hello. We're live. I'm a couple minutes late. Got a bit distracted before starting. We're gonna keep working on this art today. Hopefully, I should have this piece done by the end of today's stream, and we can start working on my other little plans. Bring those up in just a second. Kill my TV. There we go. Bring this down. I can show you the future plans. So, a little sticky note that has a lot of information on what I need to be working on and character information. Right now, this is the humanoid form for Yumei. I plan on working on the smol form after this, which, oh shit, I dropped my pen, which is going to be a fair bit smaller. Steal this layer. I'm working on some sketch ideas. Thinking like something about yay tall and yay-ish wide, little quadrupedal thing. At least that's the plan. I'll get this sticky note back to where it needs to be. Just realized there is a problem. Okay, we are on my offline screen, at least for me. Let me refresh the page, see if that helps. Okay, no, everything's working. It's just my page being dumb. Alright, that's good. So I had some help with a couple people I was chatting on the Discord. They were helping giving me some recommendations. I believe it's Lemon Casket. We were chatting on Nymeria Bloom's Discord, and she gave me some great advice and some good ideas for how to do the fur on the snake. She gave me some wonderful drawings, even colored one in. Love it. And also gave me, let's see if I can grab it here quickly. Right here, yeah, this little guy. Look at those little grabby arms. I love it. It's great. Perfect, goofy little dude. I'm gonna hold on to this picture for as long as I can. Fingers crossed my hard drive doesn't eat it again. At least it can keep going until I get my external drive and can put all of my important stuff on that, so I have a proper backup. Yeah, today we're going to work on the scale, detail, and the fur for the snake. I really do like this one. A little too much on the back, but I like the mane. I think we're going to end up doing something that's like a cross between this and like this for the neck. I've got a paint layer here. Left arm is done. Minimize the arms. This is the tail sketch. I need to give you your tongue still too. Yeah, that can pretty much just be left alone. The eyes are done. I do need to actually do detailing around the eyes, because like they look tacked on right now. I'll do that while I'm thinking about it. I'll grab one of these reference images of the snakes. Where did my mouse go? There you are. Neither of these are very good resolution. Let's go grab one quickly. snake head. Let's see. I'm gonna find a good profile view of the eye. The head's based on a python. We'll try that. Oh, that's a great picture. Just drop that in here as a reference image. Doesn't need to be that big. And a quick little rotate, 'cause I'm gonna rotate my whole canvas. Nice and straight. If you want to see how the scales kind of wrap around the eye, like they're larger, I want to do that here. Actually, that might be a better picture there. Let me bring this one in. Yeah, you can see it a lot better on this one. It's like all the scales to follow a very uniform pattern across the face, except when you're around the eye, they circle it. I want to do that for these. I need some more space. There we go. That should do it. I need thin lines of the correct color. Also, just mess around with it for a bit. Just to be safe, we'll make this a new layer. This is kind of the general idea. No, more like this, kind of rounded. Also various sizes too. Should make them less uniform, I guess. Kind of like that. It's not ideal. Look at this one, they get really big. Let's try some of those. There was a really big one up here. And another one kind of wrapped around the under eye. Very much just scribbling these in. Have another small couple near the top. Another kind of big one here. Very messy. If we look at this, it kind of follows the eye ridge line. So I think what I need to do is this. So like this would go here. Just clean up the interior of these scales a bit. Just make them look a little cleaner. Yeah, that's not too bad. Then we can kind of reconnect them over here. One big one, smaller lumpy one, much bigger one that runs up the back of the eye, and then some nice large flat ones, and then one that kind of connects these two spaces. Put another one that's like here and a small one here. button. Some of this. Nice big one that kind of runs there, and then up, and then in. Like that, and then another here, and then kind of this triangular one again. Probably have to do some small connecting scales in this space. Just to try and, connect the textures. I don't want to make them too big though, because these are supposed to be like big scoots. Probably put some more detail up near the nose as well. Totally forgot to draw the nose. Should be like that. That one's kind of in its own scale piece. So like maybe that. Just bring in a bit of this detail. Doesn't need to be like fully detailed. Just needs to kind of be there. I only want to really not even fully detail the eyes. I might bring this kind of almost patchwork pattern throughout the face. I think that'll be good. You can kind of see it on the lips there with the... Oh god, I looked up what these were called yesterday and I already forgot. It's what the snakes use for like infrared sight basically. It's like heat seeking. Get that figured out. Small scale. Yeah, that's fine. I just gotta kind of scribble these in. They don't need to be great. They just need to kind of be there and connect everything together. Kind of bring that in, divide that down there, over here. Space them out the further back we get. Yeah, that looks decent at least. I'd have to go back over it to really refine the detail, but we'll sit on that for now while I have a sketch for the scales already, don't I? Yep, right there. It's not shit. Where am I going? There we are. It's not perfect, but this also shows me where I want to put all of these more teardrop shaped scales, and those are going to come up to probably about the chin here, and then start transitioning into these more plate-like scales. Might even bring them up towards the eye, actually. Let's see how that looks. We're still on paint layer 3. Bring in these big teardrop shaped scales. That is incorrect. Start from the bottom and work my way up. So we can do this. Erase some of these, kind of blend it into the rest of the body. I might end up adding a bit more texture to like the top of the head to show off these scales a bit more. Like, you can kind of see them up top. bring a couple of these up in further to the jaw. And maybe down a little bit off the side of the jaw as well. And that would look decent. This one up a little more and do the full teardrop shape there. Kind of give the illusion that it has this more jagged appearance. Yeah, I think that's good for the time being. I also want to work on these, like, fluff. I keep doing that. I want to rotate the canvas back. I want to work on these fluff layers. Let's get these out of the way and kind of into their little pile. I'm gonna bring down these two drawings. These are the ones I liked the most. Gonna combine aspects of all of those plus a little bit of extra detailing. It's like I like this main idea, so I'm thinking I'll go into a red for now just to make this easier to see. So what I'm thinking is kind of puffs up here and then pulls in and coming down from here. Kind of like this. Can adjust like how fluffy we want it to be. That's kind of the idea. The shaping's a little off. It's like I liked the mane, just it was too round. Needs to follow the neck a little more. So where is it? There was another reference image I had for this. Yeah, like over here we got Mizutsune and the junk winder. This is not a great quality picture, but you can kind of see it how it follows the jawline. This fur. I really like that idea. It also brings in a bit more of the lion aesthetic with like the mane. And even a bit more into like the goat aesthetic with a bit of a beard going on too. So we might even like extend this out even further and like give it a really long bit right at the front. Bring in some of that like goat detail. This is very much just scribbled on, but whatever works. That, and then we keep bringing it down more here and extend this. It's not going over the hand, which is a bit of a problem, but that's fine. Basically, we want this to kind of connect into this bit here and then get really thin as it kind of extends. Kind of like that. It's not perfect, but it'll do for now. I want to really extend this little bit of fluff down here. You can also just vaguely see it coming out here. And then for the tail, like the rear of the character, we're gonna do some more big fluff. So I really liked that idea. Kind of want to connect it into some of these scoots and keep bringing it down as it pulls it out from like under a bit. How'd you do it here? Yeah, because it's like big long strands. That looks way better. I'll try that quick. Like that. Then we bring in more towards the bottom. Just kind of connect it up here, so you can see some of the scale patterns, and like these scoots, at least the ones on the side, I want to kind of bleed through, so like we'll just scribble around them real fast. So I want these to peek through the fluff, because like the hair is going to grow around them. We'll refine the design more as we move forward with this. That's the general idea for the snake. Might even bring it up top the head a little more. Say we're giving me like cockatiel advice, and they really liked that design, and it's grown on me. It felt like the one they sent was, it felt like it was missing a little something, and I think it was the beard aspect. It's like, I like it a lot. I think this is a little too big, and like this is too small, so I think it's kind of flip that around and we get something a bit more like this, and then we can like almost give him like the receding hairline of a fucking 70-year-old man. And again, we want these to kind of stick out. A little bit more of the small hair towards the tip of the chin. It's a very rough sketch, but I think that works. That'll be a lot to animate in live 2D in the future, but for now, we don't have to worry about that. We can simplify the design as time goes on. It doesn't need to be this textured. It'll probably end up looking like big chunks like the hair I already have, with maybe some little bits sticking off like on the ears and the fluff. I'll figure out how to layer it a little better when we get to the big bit on the tail and find a way to make the, not scoot, the plastron. Yeah, I like the plastron stick out a little more. But I think that's pretty much just the last of what needs to be done. I might experiment and bring in some of this texture up on the arms a bit more. I think I tried that once and wasn't super happy with it. But seeing it on this one, no, it doesn't need to be brought in. I think I still need to do a little shading on the face too. It's like there's some highlights I'm missing. Yeah, like the face and the ear still need a few highlights, and then it's just the scoots and the fur. Good to go on to the next project. I think I want to draw... Sorry, water break. I think I want to draw the small form. That'll be fun. Get to draw the little dude, the little girl, dudette, creature. So I'll mess around with more creature anatomy as opposed to like human anatomy. So this is the humanoid form, so it sits fairly human, regular, more or less like regular anatomy. The only real outliers there is, I don't know how successful I was with it, but I tried to give them a longer neck, and like obviously the snake tail, and then the feet are weird looking. I get to play around with different design choices. For now, I'm gonna hide this layer and the sketch layer. Oh god, I drew this on the eye layer. Oh, that's the snake eye layer, that's why. I'll just bring this go. Paint layer 3 is... yeah, that's like face scales. I think I should put it in like the proper scale spot. Okay, not that far. Hold on. What's paint layer 4? Paint layer 4. Okay, no, that's supposed to be the slag up here. Yeah, it's paint layer 3 I wanted to move. No, not rename. There we go. So now that's behind the eye layer and should be good. I'm gonna have to adjust like the shading on that to make it work. And I might bring a few more of these types of scales in off the actual body to... why does my mouse just disappear here? Oh, it's just... I wonder if there's a way I can change my cursor color. Tools, scripts, color space, settings, theme, style. I don't think so. Excuse me. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, we'll save. Just give this a quick save actually while I'm thinking about it. Get to work on shading the plastron. Steal that. Plastron's relatively easy to shade, which I should. Yeah, this will work. So that's the scale base. Just get the shadow. Oh, brush size. More or less it. Just shade the underside. I also need to do the nails. Forgot that. For a bit. Thought this was a cute sounding playlist. This whole one just needs to be... let's do both of these. rambling about something. Oh, we mucked up there a little. I like this soundtrack. I think it's... what was it called? It's like vlog music or something. I was just looking up royalty-free stuff. Stream Cafe, that's the channel I'm listening to right now. Probably check out a couple of their piles of music. Listen to those while we stream. It's a nice vibe. You know, that's something else something I should probably set up. Remind myself. I can also get rid of that. I've done that on my list of things to do. There we go. A reminder from some music for my start and end stream pages. So that's on my list of stuff to do. I've been talking with a couple different people and I'm hoping that there'll be some interesting stuff that will happen in the next week or two. Nothing is set in stone yet, so I'm not going to go into too much or any detail for really. I think we can start beefing up the shadows over here a bit. Fingers crossed everything goes well on that front. We'll have some very good content coming in the future. I just need to hear back from a couple people. If I don't hear back from them by the week, once the weekend starts, I'll DM them myself about it. Really want this to work out. The project sounds like it'd be so much fun. But we'll see. Don't think I need any real shadows there. I do need to kind of clean up this one a little though. And this one to an extent. There we go. Sorry, I'm still feeling a little tired. I had an energy drink earlier, but it ain't doing much. Maybe I should just start drinking coffee. I really like the smell of coffee, but I can't really do the taste. I just found it was off. But it's been a long time since I've tried coffee. So, who knows? Maybe my palate's changed since then. Let's go yoink some highlights. Highlights are pretty easy to do. Should be pretty minimal, to be honest. It's more or less just kind of tracing the very tip of these scales. Just the tips of the plastron. should have almost a bit of a sheen to them. They wouldn't have a matte finish. They're made out of keratin. So if you look at your nails, they have a bit of a shine to them. I think I made that too big. Just a little bit. So these two are too big. More or less good. A little bit here, a little bit on this side there. And everything else is more or less in shadow. This one can get just a touch at the top too. Follow it down here. This is the brighter side of the body. Sure, I'm doing a great job of showcasing like light values in that and like where the light's actually hitting the body. But it's enough that it'll like get the point across. Which is what I'm hoping for. Really reminds me of like Animal Crossing. Should get a capture card. Might add that to like my throne wish list or something. If I get a capture card. I don't know what like the specific details are that goes into using a capture card. Like, I don't know if it's specific per console. It's like, do you use the same capture card for like a PS5 and a Switch? Because I don't know that. It's something to learn. That doesn't look right. A little bit of shine there, and yeah, that just gives off that little hint. It's like they aren't really a matte color. So even your skin, to an extent, just from the natural oils, it has a bit of a gloss. Your skin doesn't have a bit of a gloss. You probably just have dry skin. Either that or my skin's a little fucking greasy. I've never felt like that. That's that done. I want to bring it to scale texture next. That's something that's going to be a bit more premeditated. I don't need these reference images here anymore. Again, I want to thank Lemon Casket for the help on that. I was having a really hard time figuring that out. She was a great help. Felt like I got out of a stump there. Is OBS saying that there's something going on here? Is that just telling me I'm streaming? I'm going to assume that's just telling me I'm streaming, that nothing's wrong. God, I hope that's the case. So last stream, OBS crashed halfway through it. Now that I'm thinking about it, my desktop audio seems to be eclipsing my mic audio, so I'm going to just lower it a bit. Is that any better? Maybe a bit more. Bring that to like the negative. No, that's too much. Yeah, that looks like it should do. So we just want it as background music. I don't want it to overtake my voice when I'm talking, because I know I'm not the loudest person out there, and my mic is... well, it's not the greatest. There definitely seems to be some issues with how it picks up my audio. I'm looking at it. It might just be the way I have it angled. Sorry for everyone who just heard that. My mic peaked. Is this any better? Oh, that is a lot better. Okay, it might have just had something to do with the angle it was at. Alright, well. That's fine. Just want to bring it a little lower so I don't have it right in my eye line. Scales. So, let's see. Paint layer 3, that's the face. Yeah, we'll start on... I think it's Sketch. Yeah, Sketch has these. We'll start on those. There we go. Well, this would be on scale line is where we want to draw this. Tools, stabilizer. Just kind of want to start at the top and work our way down. It's too thin. Oh. No. A little bit. Nope, that's too much brush pressure now. No, that's the wrong angle. Come on. Okay, let's draw from the other end. Nope. Come on, we can get this. There we go. A little bit over here. And then curve it out from here down to there, and just there to there. How does that look? Where's my sketch layer? That top bit looks a little off, but the rest of it looks fine. We can fix that top bit too. That's too thick. Yeah, more like that. That looks perfect. Turn this sketch back on, because there's some more scales, and we can rotate this to help. Yeah, that's fine. Eyes bugging me. How does that look? That bit there doesn't look... Oh, what did I do? Pressed R. Shit, what does R do? I think that just turned on the layer again? Or did it merge the layer? No, it just turned it back on. That's fine. I want to press E because I want to erase this little bit here. Just bring it back up a little. It can be thick, I guess. Drink some water. Oh shit, I should update my title. Forgot to do that last stream. Yeah, there we go. Some simple mistakes. Eventually... Oh, excuse me. I'll eventually get everything down to a science. But for now, just keep learning. So I don't have to get everything immediately. Where's the fun in that? Yeah, this really sounds like Animal Crossing music. A little bit of Pikmin in there too. I'm just not vibing with this. I'm gonna take a minute here and find some new music. Let's try this. I don't know if this is copyright free. Probably not. It's a vibe though. Just make sure it's nice and quiet in the background. Lower that just a little. There we go. Miki Matsubara. I think I've heard some of her other music and I really liked it. Nah, it's got me thinking, is this the girl who did Plastic Love? Maria Takuchi, no. No, it is not. They are different people. It's been a while since I listened to Plastic Love. Go back to it. I remember really liking that song. Starting to get paranoid that this is gonna get me in trouble. Let's see, what do we got here? Gaming, lo-fi, rock, these big stupid I don't know what it is when I'm searching videos. Everywhere else it works just fine, but just searching on YouTube, my ad blocker doesn't work, at least not properly. It bugs the hell out of me. So I get these giant windows that just obstruct the stream. Or not the stream, the screen. What do we want to listen to? Hype tracks, gaming music, comfy. I think this shows up when I look it up, so I'll try this one. It's probably similar to what we were just listening to. Early gift. I mean, this is a playlist. I don't think it's copyright free. So we aren't going to use this. I don't know why that was showing up, but oh well. This one says it's a DMCA free playlist. Well, these are individual videos though. I want just like one big one because I don't know what's been going on recently, but my computer just isn't vibing with YouTube, and it's very annoying. It just has something to do with like, oh, OBS is live and Twitch is up and you've got your art program going, Spotify's open. I don't know why Spotify's open. I can close Spotify. There we go. Yeah, we'll use this one. I guess. Hopefully it's got some good vibe to it. Yawns. Oh, there we go. This was streamed? You know, there's probably like a website or a program or something out there that you can like put these links into and it'll tell you if it's got DMCA music in it. Alright, we'll work with this. Back to drawing scales. Okay, what are you doing here? just about done this top part of the neck. That's way too thick. I need to adjust my line weight. You know what, we're gonna adjust my line a bit. Bring this down to like a 7. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, maybe not so much there. That'll work. Clean up this little bit. Come on. There we go. Ugh, God, I keep yawning. Almost spilled my water there. I should move these away from my water. I do not want to get these wet at all. Fall there, put them up here. There we go. Had some fairly expensive trading cards on my desk that I really don't want to get ruined by water damage. Oh, I'm on the eraser tool. So it'd be very unfortunate. It's like $1,000 worth of cards. Here that goes up there, and then it goes there, and then it goes here. We might come back and do some of those, like these type scales. Oh, you know what? We can do those now, actually. Oh, what did I just open? No, go away. We need the tail line, I think it is. Yeah, tail line. We'll just kill the opacity on that for now. Just coming over. I think like right here is a good spot for it. Like, I am not drawing on the correct layer. And I don't think this is the correct layer either. No, it is not. We want scale line. More or less just want to go into tail line and erase this bit. Pretty sure that this portion encompasses the top of the head as well. Yeah. Okay, so let's just scoot our way up here. No, right, those aren't the actual drawings, those are just the sketches. We can leave it like that and just give it a quick check. It's not bad. Needs a little bit more structure to it. Oh, didn't mean to switch those around, but whatever. Darken up that line and this line. Thicken up that one a bit. And this one. And then we can go to the color base and just extend that into these scales. And that should look fine. It looks a little off just because it's by itself there, but as we add just little patches of that here and there, it'll be good. Oh, we've already been going for an hour. It does not feel that long. I mean, my constant yawning might make it feel otherwise, but I feel like I've been going for like 20-30 minutes. I think we want to adjust these two down here as well. Excuse me. We want to be on this line. Just kind of round these out. Eat into this layer a little bit. Go back to the color base, scribble that in, which will also show me that I missed some spots on the tail line. Or that's a completely different line? What line is that? Okay, why am I on the pupil? I'm going to ignore that and assume that this has something to do with the sketch. Okay, yeah, no, that just has something to do with the sketch. Okay, back to the tail line. I just need to clean up this spot and this spot a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, maybe just... There we go. Kind of makes the scales look a little more three-dimensional. Makes it... Not three-dimensional, it makes it look less flat. Once I get this done, we might take a break from drawing and play some games. It's been a hot minute since I played a fighting game. That'd be fun. I need to bring the sketch back. What's paint layer 4 again? That's the fluff. Alright, I'm not really gonna see any of these scales kind of stick out. I mean, we might get like one or two here. Like, you're not gonna see them stick out till you get to this section here. Honestly, I don't even know how much these scales like actually stick out, because like a good chunk of this is gonna get covered in fur after. So a lot of these details might just get lost. And it's not like these really matter. It's more just for definition. Might even just be overcomplicating the design. Ah, well. Those are problems for future me. No, you want scale line. Might even just not use the stabilizer. Just yeah, that is 1, a lot faster, and 2, actually looks a bit better. If we turn off the sketch, how does that look? Almost. Oh, no, that's incorrect. There we go. Just erase that a little more, and that a little more, and this, and this. There we go. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit more here. Yeah, there we go. And it was done so much faster than everything else. Alright, that's good. Nose. Okay, back and touch a lot of these up after the fact. Oh, there we go. This is the last bit here. We can kill the opacity on that layer. Yeah, that looks so much cleaner. You can kill the opacity on the tail line. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. That looks scuffed as hell. Kill the opacity on this. Head back to... Okay, you might have killed that a bit too much there. 60%. Head back to scale line. Let's add in a couple of these. Not too many. But like, you want a couple. Yeah, that should be enough. Go to the tail line. Zoom in and just erase what's in these scales. And head back to the color base and add them in again. Won't go nuts and with like shading and that, but that'll do. Just adds a little bit of texture and interest to the body. Color base. Also, re-add that. Color base. These on the bottom should be dark, though, because they are on the underside. Basically, we're just going to keep the color that surrounds them the same. We don't need to do anything fancy, though. Is that it? There's 3? No, there's these ones down here. It looks like we might have missed a bit of the tail line here, too. There we go. I might want to just clean up this line a little bit more. There we go. Turn this back right side up. It's not much, but like you can see it adds, it just breaks up that very smooth line there. It's like the pants and like some of the clothes, like where the clothes are taut, they don't need it. Like you see it around and like the pants ruffles. I think the arms and legs are a bit too smooth, but it gets broken up still a little bit by the texture, which this is such a big section, it doesn't really have that. Gotta readjust how I'm sitting. This chair is not the greatest for my back. The latch that like locks it from leaning back, something happened to that right when I got the chair, and it hasn't been able to lock in one place since. The actual, it's got this like, I'll draw it down here quickly to make it make sense. It's like my chair, it's a pretty standard like office chair. So like it's got this motion that it can rock back and forth and pivot from here to do that. Whatever holds that mechanism in place is busted, but the real issue is the back of my chair. So like where I lean my back, it's supposed to have like this, like a cushion to help with your spine, but I wish I knew this when I like got the chair, because like I couldn't tell what the hell's going on, because the sample chair obviously was pre-assembled. And this whole back piece came to me pre-assembled, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. If I had known this, I probably wouldn't have picked up the chair. Like, if we just cut it in half and kind of look in the middle, it's like, it's normal, and then it's got this box in there that has this kind of curved pad thing that's supposed to sit here. And that, like, it's supposed to rock up and down to help with your spine and ergonomics or whatever. But this little thing here is not held on like any, it should have been on a hinge. It's held in place by 2 bolts that were encased in silicone. It's like over the constant movement, like I shift in my chair a lot, especially like to the left and right. It's like this kind of motion, it just wore through the silicone so fast, and this whole piece now just comes right out. Oop. I fight with it to to sit in the right spot on my back to not cause pain, and it's just the way it sits now, because you see there's like a little gap here. It doesn't have that anymore because it's not attached at this point. And it just bugs my back. It hurts my tailbone and lower back a lot. You'll probably hear me shift in my chair every so often. That's what that is. I've got a new chair wish listed on Throne right now. Gonna shamelessly plug that. And it's just a nice way to help out people getting started. I've got like tech and stuff on there, and just some hobby items that I think are neat. Some cute clothes. But I plan on pretty much buying all of that stuff myself in the future. It's like, no, there's literally no pressure to donate or anything. I'm happy people are here and watching my content and hopefully enjoying it. It would be very unfortunate if people weren't enjoying my content. But it is what it is. We can minimize that for now. I'm just going to focus on the scales. But yeah, there is a new chair in my near-ish future. Either that or I'm going to find a way to fix this one, because I do like this chair. It's very nice. I got it for a good price at a Costco. It's like, I think, $120, which in Canadian dollars is relatively affordable these days. At least this one's like structurally more sound than my previous chair, which I really like that one too, but there was just the way that the back connected to the like seat of the chair was just really haphazard. I guess I'll explain that too with a little doodle. It's like, it was, you got the, oh, I'm on my eraser. You got like the base of the chair, and then like normally you have like this metal bracket that connects the back frame. For this, I think it's a Killer Bee is what I had. It had like these two brackets on either side, like not, that didn't run up the center where like most of your weight's going to be. It had these two brackets on either side that were on these like locking ratchet joints. It's like two gears or whatever in there, and it would like lock it in place and allow you to like go from a right angle to something more obtuse, or which it was nice while it lasted, but the real issue is like the frame itself for the chair was just made out of wood, like just balsa or something. It wasn't even like, the point is, it wasn't very sturdy is what I found, because after a while, like, this section of the chair just broke. It's like the whole thing would just start leaning to one side, and it was really uncomfortable to sit in. So I still have that chair, more or less. So what I did is I just ripped off this whole section. So now I've just got like a wheeled stool, two little armrests, and it's basically just that. It works. I have it in case I ever have guests over and they want to sit somewhere in my office, which never happens. Actually, it happened for the first time the other day. I had a guest who wanted to sit around in my office and chat. They preferred to sit on the floor rather than the broken chair stool. Which, I mean, more power to them. It's not the... I imagine it's not the comfiest without the back support, but it's a decent enough cushion at least. I might just jam a pillow on the back of this chair and see if that helps. Or like pick up some foam or something and put it in this gap and see if that'll help. It's like, I don't need this back plate to move, it's just I need it in the right spot. But we'll figure it out eventually. It'll take some time. I think I've gone a bit over budget this month with my hobbies and that. Not like I'm not in the hole or anything. I'm not putting as much away in savings as I wanted to this month. Alright, we need to work on... Did I just draw these on scale line? No. Where did I draw these? Base tail. Did I leave this in tail for some reason? What layer is this? Leave it in the eyes? Irises? Shit. Oh, it's paint layer 3. It's in scales. Okay, that's fine. There we go. We want to be on scale line. Yeah, I've got a lot of plans for the future of my bar here. And I'm really hoping it works out for the best. It's gonna be a lot of effort and a lot of time, a lot of resources. So I'm under no illusion that this is just gonna suddenly work one day. I gotta put the effort in, which I'm hoping is coming across at least well enough. These things are scuffed and pretty low quality right now, but like I've only been streaming for like a week, which is pretty good for me. Had a few people show up, few people chat. Been checking my VODs on Twitch, and like people are watching those. At least I think they are. I mean, it says I'm getting views, but like I know there are like bots and stuff on Twitch. I mean, the same on YouTube. Any social media site has bots. So I'm hoping people are enjoying my content. There we go. Sometimes my mouse just gets stuck on the one of the other monitors. I am drawing on the wrong layer again. Okay, there we go. Just fix that back to scale line. This is the layer I want to be on. What's this? Chat settings? Why are you saying that something is going on? Is it shield mode? This big pink thing? Whatever. I'll figure that out later, I suppose. Something that caught my eye. Alright, bring my mouse back. Alright, that's those 3 done. Let's get these done. Yeah, I've got a lot of, like, miscellaneous things on Throne and that. It's like, oh, that would make for a neat stream. Ties in my hobbies. It's something I'd enjoy doing at least. And, like, I'm hoping I'll cultivate an audience that'll enjoy that kind of thing too. It's like I'd love to do some streams or videos or something on like Magic the Gathering or some other card games that I really like playing, so that's a huge part of my life. I'd love to share that with some people. Oh, I am pressing the wrong button. There we go. So that's why there's a bunch of like booster boxes and shit on Throne. And I didn't explain it on Throne. I should probably put it up somewhere, but like for the clothes and that, Like, obviously those are for my trans ass, but one of the intents behind those is like, if I get those, I am 100% drawing Yumei in those clothes. Like, that's... I'll probably edit my throne after this and put that in there, because, like, that's... I thought those would have, like, a nice double incentive. It's like, oh, is there something you want to see the character in? These are some shirts I like. And I'll draw my character in them. It's like, this is not a set in stone, like, set of clothes. This is like the work uniform that I came up with, which, if I just scroll over here, it's based off like a bartender's suit. I actually saw something pretty similar when I was out in Florida. It was like this black pair of pants, the white shirt, and then this like cropped vest. And I was so mad that they didn't have one in my size, because I would have bought that in a heartbeat. It looked so nice. Like, outside of like this drawing here, I don't know how I describe that into like Amazon or whatever and find it again. So it was like an outlet mall or something in Florida that we were at. That's where I found it. I also picked up a new backpack while I was there, because mine is starting to fall apart. Which isn't great. Alright, that's that done. Well, we're here. We can go into the tail line and erase the bits that are in here. While I'm at it, let me turn off the paint layer 3 so I can fully see what I'm trying to erase here. There's nothing in the way. And then the other one's over here. Yeah, in the future, like, Bloomburrow's coming out in August. I might pick up a box for that. If I pick up a booster box for Bloomburrow, I might open that on stream. That sounds fun. But between now and then, I need to figure out a way to record my hands. I don't really have a camera outside of my phone right now. I mean, I've got a lot of, like, wire and shit, so, like, I could probably just makeshift create, like, a... how to describe it? Like an arm or something, you know, like the mic stand I've got here. I could probably make like a makeshift arm to house my phone camera on. I have to mess around with it a lot, though. Alright, that looks good. We're not touching the actual tail line anymore, so we can just leave that at max and minimize that. Rotate you to the right angle, zoom out. Yeah, like it's small, but like that just adds so much, just little texture. Really helps break up that big flat line. It's like you really see it here, but there's not much I can do about that. I mean, I could try and do this again, but that was a pain in the ass, and it really doesn't look the best, so I'm probably not doing that again. We're just going to stick with this, because like, there's going to be some fur in that that's going to peep out there. Oh, shit. Well, I'm thinking about it. I still need to do the highlights and lowlights for the nails. I think those are just on the arm. Arms, left arm. I think it might just be on the skin. Yeah, fuck it, we'll just put it, mix it in with the skin highlights. Oh, wait, no, there's scale. There we go. Scale line, scale shadow, scale base. I guess the scales... The scale highlight is just on the shadow layer. That's fine. Because it's just a little bit off the top. On both of these nails. There we go. Just a very subtle effect. They don't really need any shadowing. Just needed to do that while I was thinking about it, because if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. It's a very small detail. Okay, let's see. We need to do the rest of your face detailing. Let's just minimize this again. I think we're good on the sketch layer to the point where I can probably just... Well, let me make sure. What is on the sketch layer? The only thing that's on the sketch layer still that actually needs to be drawn still is the tongue. And honestly, we don't really need to draw the can't talk. Don't need to actually draw the tongue if we don't want it there. Like, one thing I'm probably going to do later on is... I might redraw this character in a different pose for, like, a PNG tuber model. I might use this picture. I'm not sure. How does it look mirrored? It looks fine. Nothing looks objectively off. Arguably, this hand looks better on this from this angle. This one looks fine. Everything still makes sense. The foot's a little off. The face looks fine. This horn looks a little off, but that's fine too. It's supposed to be broken. Everything looks good mirrored, so maybe we can use this. Just jam my face in the corner and make a little yap. Like, make the mouth flap in, open and closed. Might experiment with some fun expressions. For now, we don't need to do that. It can stay at this angle. It looks kind of off the longer you stare at it from that angle, just because I'm so used to seeing it from this one at this point. We were working on paint layer... No, not paint layer 4. Paint layer 3. This. The rest of, like, the face texture. We're gonna, like, have my line here. This can go on scale line, I guess. This is simple enough. Just a quick flick of my wrist. Just make sure my spacing is decent. So I slowly want these to get further and further apart. Yeah, that looks fine. So they start really close near the nose and then get further apart. And while I'm at it, just fix this up. That's been bugging me for a while. I don't even know what layer that is, but whatever. Alright, so for here, we're just going to do some very light lineage. It doesn't actually need to connect to anything. It just needs to imply shape. How does that look? Where's paint layer 3? I can minimize the eye and get that a bit out of the way. Not great. So that and that. How about that? Yeah, that looks good. It implies scalage. I don't want to get rid of this scale highlight. I wanted to turn this layer back on. And now I forget where I was drawing. Oh, right. You actually still need your nose. We'll just put that in scale line too. There we go. These can also just be fully colored in, I suppose. They're supposed to be like holes in the face. I don't really have a flesh tone color picked out, so for now these can just be solid. See, how does that look? That does not look right. We're not doing that. Make the nose there. We'll figure out something to put in there, because I think it's like the scales go in. We might just use the dark scale color there, and that'll, like the scale shadow color, and that'll work. Alright, that, and then that, and then zoot, zoot, zoot. How does that look? It's done very fast. I don't mind it. Let's see. Yeah, no, it looks fine. I think the only thing is this line here needs to be broken up. It's like this, and then this, and then this, and then this. How does that look? Okay, that looks a lot better. And then get you. Okay, big line there. Curve inward. Line, line, line. Doot, 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 doot. But alright. That looks fine. We'll just add a little bit more down here. And then just a little bit coming off of this side here. Keep that implied scale texture going until it kind of blends in with this. So we want it just a little higher up here too. And that just gives enough detail that it doesn't look so flat. I am going to have to adjust some of the colorage though, because it just sits different. Like the scales are a bit more sunken in. Speaking of which, if we go to scale shadow, click this, I'm gonna bring in this shadowing here, and we'll see if that looks any good. If it gives that darker appearance I wanted. Yeah, no, that's fine. Bring that in the nose as well. I think I'm just going to bring the base color up, so we actually don't even need to color it, we just need to erase the... Why is the scale highlight not the scale highlight? because I've been drawing on the wrong layer. Makes sense. We want the tail highlight. Yep, there we go. Just kind of erase the highlighted texture in these areas. These scales are supposed to be a bit more flat, not raised, so they wouldn't catch the light as well. In fact, the ones that kind of sit in this area should actually have shadow, because the eyes are supposed to be kind of bulbous on a snake. This is the wrong layer. So do we just follow this? You can kind of see the shadow from where the eye sits. There we go. It's subtle, but it works. Especially when you had cut out this highlighted section at the very top of the head. Around the eyes, it looks a lot better. Alright, so that's everything but the fur done. Take another quick sip. Might take a break between the fur and just spitball some ideas for the smol form. Let's do that. I don't remember what my fucking canvas size is here. But I want something square. So we're gonna go, let's say 1,000 by 1,000. Nice big ol' blank canvas. So what are we thinking for design? So the root of the design is a chimera. The root of the design is this thing. There's Kieran and Quilin inspiration as well. Obviously we've got a variety of different inspirations here. Just there's reptilian. Just look at Yumei herself. So the big thing is the horns. It's we know we have horns. Where is my mouse? There it is. So let's just start on a black and just start drawing something. So we know we're going to have a head with 2 big horns on it. How humanoid do we want the head? It's do we want to give it a full muzzle? We could go for more of a sphinx look where it's a very... That could be interesting, actually. Huh. The more humanoid appearance. Gonna have to look into some designs there. It's like, what is a sphinx if not effectively another type of chimera? Except just the general idea behind chimeras is it's just kind of like a bunch of things mashed together. Huh. So that could be an interesting design to experiment with. Something that has a still relatively humanoid face. Also be a good way to bring in more of the lion aesthetics, because if you look here, it's the lion doesn't really show up too much. Like I tried with like the claws and the leg structure. Like the lion and goat just barely show up at all. And then again, the goat's probably like the least important part of this, because it's like it's mostly in like the nose, the pupils, and the horns. So like I want something with a kind of flat face. But like a sphinx is a good idea. I just need to find a reference image I can actually show, because a lot of different interpretations of sphinxes are showing enough skin that it will violate TOS, I believe. Because, of course. And then the other half of this is just all like pictures of the actual sculpture. I want something not over designed, kind of simple. You know what? When in doubt, stick with what you know. Let's look at some Magic the Gathering sphinxes. As these probably won't break TOS, at least. Magic. A lot of these have really human faces. This one I kind of like. Inspired Sphinx. We're gonna steal this picture to use as reference. Copy image. Just bounce over here. It's one of the things I wanted to do with Yumei is eventually give her like wings, because like depending on what interpretation you see of a chimera, the snake can be a dragon. So, like, I know that's the popular one for like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like they have the dragon instead of the snake, so it has wings too. Like that's not the only one. Cause like yeah, this is what I'm looking at. It's like very animalistic with a very human face, but I'm gonna keep like the flatter nose from the goat aesthetic. But this is very close to what I'm thinking, as far as like generalized aesthetic for the small form. We might not give the small form wings though. And I don't think I'm giving her paws either. Let's think about design. It's like using the Sphinx here as just a very basic jumping off point. We're going to have a relatively humanoid face. This is just heavily scribbled on. We're going to keep the horns nice and big, and the neck is going to be fairly long into her body. And from there, how do we want to play around with the anatomy? Because We aren't doing a human. Huh. Like, I think we're going to dumb down the snake tail a bit, too. Like, I think we'll go with a sitting pose for now. So, like, we've got the tail. That's definitely happening. But I think we're not going to have a snake head on it. I think we're going to keep the 3 eyes at the tip of the tail. But we're not going to give it, like, the snake part. And we're going to increase the levels of fluff on this part of the tail. It's still going to kind of disappear near the middle of it. But I like this idea. So we can keep those there, and then, like, we'll keep the ridges from the dragon snake, but again, simplify them. So instead of the 2-1 pattern, it's just the 1. So it's 1 0 1 0 1 0 across towards the tip of the tail. And we'll get rid of the side plastrons entirely. So now when it comes to limbs, what do we want to do with the limbs? So, like, the other thing I'm thinking is, like, hair. We want it to be fairly shaggy still. But I want the hair to connect into, like, the spine and have almost like a mane, like, aesthetic. Because you can see it on the inspired Sphinx. Like, how the hair kind of connects into this mane portion. I want that. So, like, this has to connect into the chest. Doesn't have to be the whole way, so we can still kind of see the neck. But, like, yeah, maybe pull it in a bit more and then bring it into the hair. This is the roughest of rough sketches, but you can kind of get the idea I'm going for here. So it's we're facing the other way, so it's this side that is getting covered, and this side that is not. So your eye would be here, the nose would be here, and the mouth would be here-ish. And just, again, very, very rough. Show off the neck there. Just keep this flowing down the spine. The mouth, I think, will be played up a bit more like serpentine, because if we look here, it's a fairly wide mouth with a lot of curvature to it. I think we extend that along the side of the face, so it's like a concerningly wide mouth. Got like the teeth. Just the general idea of it. You've got your ears. I don't think I need to do much to the ears. Probably redesign this again, because like this is not leaning into the smol. This is very awkwardly proportioned right now, but you know, we're working on general character design for the moment. Scuffed as hell on the stream, but that's fine. Gotta figure out what I'm doing for the limbs. Like if we look at, where's my mouse? There it is. Go back here. So It's like, we're gonna keep with the digitigrade hind legs. That's just a necessity. Like if we go here, it's like we've got the thigh and the hip into the calf. It might be more like this into the foot and the toes. That is like all the wrong fucking size. And the wrong angle for that matter. To the point where we're going to retry that. Like, let's connect up the spine first. That'll probably help. It's like leg, knee, ankle, foot. That's a lot better of at least a pose. And the other one would be like this, 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 this. The size is still off, but that's a much better positioning for it. Go up here, and this fluff is going to continue up the crotch section. It's like that's intended. And for the arms, I might make the rear feet cloven hooves. That might be something I do. I'm not entirely certain. It would bring in more of the goat aesthetic at the very least. As for the arms, like the shoulders would be here. I want the arms to be like really awkwardly long for its proportion. It's not gonna have hands. So we might just bring in like that three-toed aesthetic that the regular foot has. So it's like bean, foot, arm, dew claw. And that just pulls up all the way. And it's a very scrawny limb. And it's very basic idea. Basically do the same over here, but the foot would stick out in the other direction. The toe dew claw would be there-ish. I kind of like that. The proportions are all a little off still. So we can play around with this while I look up some more like reference image, because I'm not sold on this design. You know, I want the horns to be big though. It's a nice contrast. So, I mean, if this thing's like grown in a test tube, like an artificial womb of sorts, it wouldn't matter if the horns start small or big, because there's no need to worry about injuring the whatever is incubating it. It's like, I know you see it on like what's it, like ungulates, cattle, horses, and that things with hooves. They've got like this fleshy cap over their hoof that's supposed to protect the mother and their internal organs from the hard and sharp hoof. At least I'm like 90% sure that's a thing. Yeah, deciduous hoof capsule. It's a weird fleshy thing that's on the hoof of the animal. Looks really gross. But no, I was right on that at least. It's like knowing that we can kind of get wild with our design, which I think will be fun. to be other ways of drawing chimeras. Not like the traditional sense. It's like we can play around with it. What makes a chimera? What makes a homunculus? It's like it's an artificial life form. That's plot one. So the wide mouth makes sense for the lore. We do need the long arms with claws. That makes sense. I like the fur. And it's kind of giving squirrel vibes. I might beef up the chest a little with the fluff. This might just be the best design we've got for the moment, unless I can think of something. Right, I wanted to bring these up the spine. I was talking about that in the last stream, so let's bring these up. Like you can kind of see them poke through the fur in some spots. It's a small change, but it does add to it without keeping the design super complex. So now I think it's just a matter of playing around with proportion to make little baby form. What's Juniper call hers? I think it's baby mode. We're making baby mode. You know, that's probably a good spot to look. When it comes to, like, generalized aesthetic. Because we might be over-designing this is the problem. Let's copy this. We'll paste it in here as another reference image. This little dude. I'm still waiting on a confirmation email that my order from Mostbox has shipped, because I bought a little guy. I bought a little dude. And I have yet to hear from Mostbox about my order. Because it is... I think I picked up a keychain of Juniper as well. And that's what the issue is, like the keychain's on back order or something. Okay, this is a cute picture. I'm gonna... Come on. There we go. Look at this. I don't know whose this is, but that is adorable. Honestly, Juniper's model is just fantastic. I really hope to develop my skills to the point where I can make my own model and rig it and all that, because having that degree of control over it would be phenomenal. Like, imagine all the different little toggles and stuff. There's another VTuber I've seen a bit of here and there that does their own models. Lime something? Limealicious, maybe? I'm not entirely certain. But, yeah, I'd love to be able to make all those little toggles and that. It's like, imagine this, and then it's like, you got your little corner space where the VTuber sits, and it's like, oh, I got my head here, and my neck, and then two little hands kind of looking out at you. That'd be a cute toggle. Like, I've got ideas. I currently just don't have either the funds or the skill set to really implement them. And between the two, I'd rather have this skill set. It's like, sure, you can just pay somebody to make this stuff for you. That's easy. It just costs a lot of money. Like, if I learn these skills myself, even if I think I talked about this last time, even if this streaming stuff doesn't really work out for me, I developed a new skill set. I can translate that into a potential career for myself. Because, like, I've only been in, like, the VTubing, like, directly in the community for, like, maybe 2 weeks now. Probably a little longer than that. Probably, like, a month. Like, point is, I'm very new to the space. I've always kind of been on the outside of it looking in. And it wasn't until fairly recently I decided, you know what, I'm sick and tired of my job. It's awful. I hate it. I'm going through a lot of shit right now and just can't be bothered with this, and fuck it, let's try something new. That's what I did. That's why I'm here now. And it has been such a good change for me. Like, I have been so much happier as of late. My mood's been up, my energy's been up, which is, I mean, you hear me yawn all the fucking time. Which, I mean, I don't have a lot of energy to begin with. I'm a very lax person. And people say that their owners or their pets start looking like their owners, but I think it's the other way around. I've spent so much time with my lazy ass lizard that he just, what's going on over here? It's not tight enough. There we go. I think something's going on with my mic stand. Starting to droop in a very concerning way. I'll figure that out more or less later. As for now, I do want to play around with proportion a little more, because you can see how, like, chunky this is. Like, proportions are fairly exaggerated, especially when compared to an actual moth. Like, very big head. Very little beady eyes. That's more so they're just supposed to be dot eyes. So yeah, I need to play around with proportion to make this work. Because right now we've got just little feral goblin creature. Which I want... The design really feels like it's missing something. I'm not sure what. Maybe it's the pose that I'm not a fan of. So yeah, there's something missing. I just don't know what it is. It's like this area that's the problem. It's like I haven't gone into like detail or anything yet. And like, oh, this needs to be like this. This needs to be like that. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Is like the fluff. We're missing the fluff. That's the problem. It's like there's supposed to be a big thing of fluff that kind of sits on the ankle. We want big fluff on the wrist that kind of extends up the arm. Or like the side of the arm. It's like that. So this is... just gonna box off this limb very quickly. So we want that. That actually helped so much. It's not perfect. I think I need to bring this down to like the actual foot. Just divide that up like that. It's scuffed as hell, but like that's definitely helping. So we've got like the shoulders. How do the shoulders look? Kinda chunky. I'm still playing around with the idea of like, do I want multiple limbs? It's like I know the big monster form's gonna have multiple limbs. And the hybrid form is going to be like a centurion in construction. It's like you got the body, torso, horse body kind of deal going on. You got person, body, and head. Like the hybrid form is going to have this going on. The monstrous form is basically going to be this, but huge. Like really over-engineered, over-designed. Like it's going to have multiple eyes. Debating on 6. It's either going to be 4 or 6 eyes for the face. A very exaggerated reptilian mouth. That's something I know is like, but yeah, do I want? I might extend. So let's play around with it for a minute. So what might be fun is giving it a bit of a Cloverfield vibe, where you've got a second subset of arms that kind of sit below the first pair. And on the little mode, we can make those really small. Little like T-Rex hands, almost. That might be cute. I think it's a little awkward looking, but I think it's fine. It's more so to tie in with the big form. I'll give you little wings, too. I do want to give you little wings. Little salamance wings. There we go. It's like the big form is gonna be just monstrous. We want huge arms, big wings. Think like Gore Magala from Monster Hunter, where you've got like the wing claw things going on. Very strong legs and a huge tail with a big fucking dragon head on the back of it. And then like super long front neck. Is like that. That's the idea for the monstrous form. So I think if we bring in a couple more of those elements to little baby mode, that would be good. Like we can play around on this. It's like the half mode. We got like the 6 legs going on again. It's like pretty much every form's gonna have those 6 limbs. I might even put like eye slits under, if you've seen like Jujutsu Kaisen with Sukuna and Itadori. It's like Itadori's eyes are here, and then he's got like these marks that are under it that like when Sukuna's in control open up. That I might do something like that, and just like implied markings for the humanoid form and the baby mode. Like we put an implied marking there and there, I guess. And it's like you got 4 eyes in the Centurion form, and then all 6 in the monster form. But the snake always has 6 eyes. It's like that's the big thing here is we need to put the snake on this form. Like the snake's always going to have 6 eyes, except for the monster form, which I might give it 7. You know, like smack one right in the middle of its face, so it's like eye. Got like the whole head here, and then the jaw. Just scribbling for ideas right now. It's like there's all this all does tie into the lore of my character more or less, of Yumei. It's like I don't think I went super in-depth with it last time. I don't actually remember, but if I'm repeating myself, I'm repeating myself, whatever. So the idea is Yumei, especially little baby form Yumei, was actually a science experiment. There was a... I'm still kind of hazy on like what time frame I want this in and all that, but the idea is like mapping the human genome. What can we do with this? Let's add in a bunch of shit. And they couldn't. It's very, in hindsight, it is fairly similar to, or at least somewhat similar to Juniper's. So it's like, oh, I was created in a lab, and then they're studying me, but it differentiates from there. It's like, I am not stuck in a lab. I left. I got out of there. It was not on the greatest terms on how I got out of the lab, but I am free. I own a business. It's always tucked away in some very inconspicuous place. Kind of a liminal space. Think like the back rooms, but not sinister. So the people who need it will find it, and the people who don't, we'll just move on with them. Like, it all started that I was an artificially created being. Homunculus. Idea was to study the potential behind the chimera. Like, is it effect? I want to say effect, but I don't think that's correct. It's like there's a known occurrence that happens when, like, I think I discussed this last time. It's like 2 sets of DNA and whatever. Like, that's the idea. It's an artificially constructed creature using multiple sets of DNA to see, like, what can we do with this? Can we make something stable? And Yumei was the first stable prototype. This is the first one they managed to actually keep alive. Didn't die within the first, like, either within the incubation stage or within the first 24 hours. And obviously, there's a battery of tests that you're going to do. You're going to, like, dissect it. You're going to check its motor skills, its intelligence, all that. And it's like, a lot of this stuff is very, like, that these experiments are going to end up being very unethical, is the idea. It's like, it's a secret project. I'm still 50-50 on, like, is this a world of magic? Is this a world of science? Probably something in the middle. So it's like, this is a, like, an alchemic institute, like, trying to blend science with magic. It's like, we have created life, what can we do with it, kind of deal. And, like, the idea is that somebody is going to finally have a conscience. It's like, wait a minute, we created a living being, and this thing clearly has sentience. It's like, it even seems to be showing signs of sapience. So what we are doing is awful. I can't stand for this. I am going to help this thing. So they smuggle me out of the facility and hide me away in their house, basically. And it's like taking care of a child in that sense. It's like, this thing is clearly intelligent, at least beyond bestial intelligence. Like, it can understand the world around it. I want to say it's like a chimp. It's like a monkey. Kind of leveled brain. And it's like, so it understands more or less what's going on. It can communicate. It's an infinite, so not very well, but we'll raise it and see what happens. So that's what happens. It's like, there's going to be some stuff that happens in there. The lore's not fully expanded upon yet. And it's like, oh, now the Institute's back. They figured us out. Something's going on. Is like, okay, yeah, there's, like, human in here, but, like, what about everything else? Like, you've got fucking snake, dragon, lion, a bunch of predator species, a bunch of, like, very aggressive predator species. So one of the key themes here is actually the divide between, like, man and beast in both the literal and metaphorical sense. It's like, what is humanity? What is being a good person and a monster? Where is the divide? That's part of the major theme of this, is like, give a monster humanity and it can become more human than another person. But at its core, it's a monster. At its core, this is a predator. This is something that can really hurt. This is something that can kill a person. And that's kind of the idea here, is that, like, as I grew, as Yumei grows, she is going to get larger and have more pronounced features of a predator, and it's going to be like, yeah, I've got a human brain, but there's also this huge pocket of, like, instinct that's like, I need to hunt, I need to kill, I need to eat. And it's like, I am not getting enough sustenance based off of whatever I am being fed. It's clearly not enough. Which is going to be one of the major flaws of the character. I didn't, like, ties into with, like, the sin of gluttony or whatever. Yumei is going to be a voracious creature, is my point. Like, eventually this hunger is going to become overwhelming, and the, like, predator instincts are going to really kick in. It's like, I can smell prey, I know what's going on. And it leads him back to the Institute, and it's like, oh, these are the people who hurt me, who hurt my benefactor. I don't like these people. So she's going to enter the facility, and that's kind of that bridge between humanity and monstrosity. Like, this is where the divide happens. Going from something inhuman but with humanity to a full-blown monster. Because upon entering the facility, instincts kick into overdrive. It's like, yeah, these people... I think it might tie into, like, the Institute has captured or kidnapped the benefactor, and is... They're trying to get back their experiment, because, like, it was hard to make Yumei. It's like, Yumei was kind of a one-in-a-million scenario where it's like, we managed to create life. And not like, oh, we cloned something. Like, this is a pure man-made creation, like, from the ground up. This is a true homunculus, or maybe a golem. There's probably a better term for it that I'm just not aware of, but you understand. I'm hoping I'm getting across what I'm thinking. So upon entering the facility, like, instincts kick into overdrive. It's like, I am starving. I need to eat. The smell of flesh is in the air. There is nothing but prey here. I am hunting. And she's just gonna rampage through the facility, and just... That's where humanity's gone. You have committed one of the greatest sins that you can as a human, which is to kill and eat another person. I don't think it's technically cannibalism, considering what Yumei is, but, like, the idea's there. This whole thing's gonna basically culminate into, like, a blood... like a feeding frenzy, bloodlust, blinded by bloodlust. And, like, by the end of it is, like, the only way they come back to their senses is, like, take that first step away from being a monster and back to a human. Is they have come to the conclusion, like, I am finally satiated. My hunger is gone. Dear God, what have I done? I have massacred everyone. They are all dead. They're not just, like, dead. They're, like, ripped to pieces. And it all kind of culminates in this scene of, like, they kind of realize what's happening as their body starts to shift and morph. It's like a very painful experience. There's, like, this realization, this physical change, it's all coming at the same time. And the trigger for this was the last person they killed and ate was their benefactor. The last thing their benefactor could give them was their humanity. which now Yumei basically wanders this liminal space of the bar and across the world, basically, as just a vagabond plagued by guilt of committing one of the most atrocious sins possible. Like, you have retained your humanity, but at what cost? That's like the general backstory of the character. There's a lot of stuff that needs to go into like more detail. Like, what is the bar? Who was the benefactor? What is the facility? Those are the big things I still need to work on for this, but as far as backstory goes, I'm very happy with it. This divide between humanity and monstrosity. It's one of those things that plays into my personal life a bit. Obviously not to this degree. I haven't eaten anybody or killed anyone yet. I am joking, by the way. That is clearly a joke. But more importantly, it ties in with the inspiration to part of this character, which is this right here. This is Heath and Lily from Beauty and the Beast Girl. There's, at least from what I understood while reading it, there's a bit of an underlying narrative of humanity and monstrosity, because Heath is clearly not human. They are a monster girl, and they are isolated and stay away from the humans because the humans are scared of them. And in the past, Heath attacked a village in retaliation for being attacked, and slowly comes to unravel that story and deal with the consequences and aftermath of said event. Like, those are themes I find very intriguing in story. Like, you see it in Murcielago. It's like Kuroko, maybe not to that degree, but like Kuroko is definitely a monster. Like, I love Kuroko, great character. She is a horrific being. Like, she has transcended what it means to be human, in a sense. Like, you see it with Baiken, too. It's like casting off certain aspects of the self in order to move forward in life. And, like, even not Beastars, Killing Bites kinda has that. Like, it all kind of plays into, like, the idea of a chimera. Something mashed together piece by piece that isn't quite right, but still functions. And that's the general idea behind Yumei, is that, like, she is an artificial being that was basically made to die in the name of science and progress or whatever, who gave in to depravity and retained humanity. Those are the underlying themes, at least how I choose to interpret it. Maybe somebody else will interpret it differently, but that's the idea, at least. I've been rambling for a while, so we're gonna get back to drawing. Just make a new layer here. We'll kill the opacity on this one. Now I can play around. I've got who's DMing me? How long has this been there? Oh, it's just another streamer saying they're going live. It's nothing. Really need to figure out how to mute those notifications, because, like, Twitch is almost always open, so, like, I know who's going live, or I can see stream schedules pretty easy. I don't need it in the Discord. Just distracts and confuses me. So yeah, like I was saying, we need to play around with proportion. It's like, how would we do this? A puppy. Okay, that's not how you spell it. Thank you for fucking that up. Like, something with a bit, I want to say deformed proportions. Obviously, that's not quite accurate, but like you look at like young animals, baby animals. Like there are some proportional differences to the adult. It's like everything's a little rounder and stubbier. These things just haven't grown fully yet. Which makes sense. So we should play around with that. I think I made those front arms too big, and like everything's just a little too big in compared to the rear. Like we might even make the tail a lot smaller too, and kind of get rid of that squirrel look we've got going on. So let's fuck around a little. Like the body, we are on the wrong layer. This, and then it's kind of like a bean shape almost. And the head should be basically the same size, but not like there. I want the neck to still be kind of long. Just like that, maybe. And then like our hip here and here. And our shoulder here and here. It's not perfect, but it kind of gets across what I want. Like this would be where the neck is. Actually, I think the head needs to be like here. It's not great, but we'll fuck around with it for a little bit. And like the arms just kind of like that, and then the legs kind of, these kind of like teardrop forward. And then back, and then down. Kind of like that, and then we can have the little tail kind of peek out like this, maybe. Like, oh, there's the tail. That's better, but not great. I think it's a little too chunky. Let's try something a little slimmer then. I think I like the pose. Do I like the pose? Huh. I'm not sure I'm sold on that pose, actually. It's very basic, not really cutesy. Like, this has that little arms up. Maybe if I just copy that with my little sub-arms. Is that better? It's a little better. Honestly, we might just be stealing this pose in its entirety for the moment being. The only difference is for us, these arms are above these ones. And it's kind of in like a sitting position. That's what I want. Might just have to play around with the hip structure and leg structure a little bit to get this right. I think I'm fine with how the torso is. It's just the rear section looks off. Maybe if we do this instead, just kind of smooth everything out. And we've got like the ankle and then the foot. Kind of like that, I guess. Just gotta change where the elbow sits. That looks a lot better. I'm not sold on the angle of the head or the tail, for that matter. Let's change the tail, actually. I'll just kind of erase this a little bit. Just kind of fix that angle. What if we bring the tail down towards the ground and just kind of lay it flat? Looks like we've got a big flat tail section here. might need to play around a little. We might not have to have the hooves. We might go back to the toes. We might even just do two little toes at the back. Something like... second little toe. Something like that. It's just two toes instead of, like, multiple. Looks like we'll do three for the front, and then you've got the dew claw up here. That's going to be, like... Huh. Like, it's very reptilian. What if we add in, like, more cat-like elements to it and give it beans? Like, make an actual paw for, like, the back of the foot. That's not perfect, but, I've really drawn paws before. I understand, like, the general construction of those. Then you got, like, beans on the bottom. I think the issue is the way I've designed the rear legs. It doesn't work well for, like, a sitting pose. Which, I mean, it makes sense. You ever seen, like, a horse sit? I'm gonna look that up now. That's probably a good way to figure out how to get this pose to look right. I see. That does explain why none of this looks right. Because it's objectively wrong. So my issue here is I've got a very straight body. Especially at the hips. The hips are very straight. The hips need to be angled. So one leg is kind of down, and then the other is a bit more extended. That's what I'm missing here. That's how horses kind of sit. They'll prop themselves up with their front legs kind of lean to one side, have one foot going under, and the other foot is like a bit more, not like that outstretched, but it's there to like stabilize everything. Kind of like this. And then it's a very straight torso still, so you've got the arms that basically just go straight down. But this makes a lot more sense. So the other thing I've got wrong is actually this. The hip isn't in the right spot. Like I was pointing out, it's like a teardrop shape. This goes up, down, and then this foot kind of comes out. And it's like that on both sides. Let's redraw this from the ground up. So I fairly like this pose. We are going to not do that. I only want to move the one layer. Tool, selection mode, move layer with content. Move current layer. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to want to put this up here. We'll make another new layer quickly. So that'll be our pose reference, and that's our design reference for the roughest of sketches. Let's start with a very basic skeleton. So we know our hip has to be angled, like our torso is here, and our rear is here. The hip has to be at an angle, whereas this has to be straight. So that means this would curve a bit to do so. And we've got two sides which pull up into a teardrop shape for the muscle. This one doesn't need to. Then the foot comes down and directly out. And we've got like a little hoof bit. Whereas this one can just kind of go straight back and then like that. That's very simple. And then our tail is going to go out and then curl back in flat. I'll kind of cover that hoof too for this pose. It's like that's very basic. So our hips kind of sit here. Our torso sits here, so our rib cage should kind of be like this. Which means this should kind of go like that. And then we've got our shoulders and our sub-assembly of arms. Our sub-assembly of arms is not like that. It would go down, up, and then down again. Down, up, and then down again. And we've got our shoulders, and these just have the really long arms for a fairly straight pose. And take the head and follow the curve of the spine. And just put our head here. Rough sketch it in. That feels too long. Like I want a long neck, but that's too long. Also, that's way too small. We want a kind of a big head. Very round head too. Be more like this, I suppose. Our little ears. Our two horns. And then our big fluffy head of hair that follows suit and down into the chest space. Yeah, it actually looks more Kieran-like with the longer neck. Which I really do like. That is a good design bit. How long have we been going for? 2 minutes, or 2 minutes. 2 hours, 44 minutes. Streaming for, I think 4 hours, so we'll go for another hour. At least I think that's what my schedule was like. I'm actually not sure now. Let me check. Just pause that, and that is not taking me to my schedule. Huh. Ah, well, we'll figure it out later. I think I said I was going to stream for 4 hours, so that's what we're going to do. Scratch that itch. So this is the general idea for small mode. Play around with the pose and the proportions a little more, but I do like this. I want to look into... It's very skinny. Kind of want it to be a little chunkier, if that makes sense. It's like the chibi aesthetic. So we might have just made him a little too gangly is the problem. How would I go about deforming this in a way that makes more sense? So I've never really drawn in the like chibi style. But like, I think I'm thinking Gundam right now because they've got like the SD line, and the SD line's supposed to be like 2 heads tall. Which, I mean, that's what this is. This is 2 heads tall. So do I just have to give myself a giant fucking schnoggin? That'll fix this design, kinda. It's like they have to be relatively the same size, though. With enough fluff, it might work out. Okay, so I definitely like this pose and design. And we might have to settle for 3 heads in size just to accommodate for the big fucking neck. I'm gonna look at some, like, other VTubers who have... let me look up... Chibi Monster. This might give me some inspiration when it comes to design. So we don't need anything crazy. Yeah, generally speaking, it kind of follows the idea of the head and neck section are about the same size as the body. It's either a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 ratio. It's like the body is either twice the size of the head or they are the same size. Huh. Alright. I think a lot of these are like AI drawings too, which just look really off. Yeah, I think... Okay, here are some good ones. These are like chibi sprites from Monster Hunter. Yeah, I think we're going to follow the 2-to-1 ratio, but we need to exaggerate some proportions. Like, the legs need to be small, but, like, the feet need to be big. The tail needs to be big. And the wings need to be itty-bitty. You know, it's like a bumblebee wearing shoes. That's kind of what's going on here. So if we fuck around knowing that ratio, we might be able to turn this into something successful. Let us just turn that layer off. What is paint layer 2? Oh, I somehow managed to divide these two drawings by moving that one. Makes sense. So we go here, just kill the opacity on that, and get back to drawing on paint layer 4. Alright, so we know it needs to be... The head needs to be half the size of the body. Or the body needs to be twice the size of the head. So let's start with the head. Let's draw a nice big schnoggin. There's our head. So how... I'm looking at Jepsaros here. Somebody's got a pixel art of, like, Jepsaros and Kuluyaku, Rathalos, and that. It's like, oh, those monsters have longer necks. So, looking at that... Might have made this a little big for where I put it. Let's move it, just, like, up here. So, like, we got that, and then... we... circle and... circle... That might work for the size. And then we want like itty bitty nubby arms here and here. So that's one of the things. I think we're just doing too much detail work. And we got like a little foot here and the hip here. And we got like the hip, the leg, and the and then the foot kind of sticks out like right here, like that, kind of like a chicken drumstick, chicken leg kind of deal. And it's like it's a very chunky looking body, so that's fine. We want kind of chunky looking, and then we got the neck. And that kind of works. And we got like big ol' feet there, and a big old fat tail. We used to cover up a good chunk of this atrocity where it's sitting. That works. If we keep looking at the designs here, just look at some other similar deformed designs here. It's like there are exaggerated features, like a very, very small nose, a very cutesy mouth. This looks so fucking bad. Like big eyes, really big eyes. Also, surprisingly, like round ears. So we might round off my ears a little more. Then other proportions are equally as exaggerated. So like the horn, I think we don't make it as long, but we do make it wider. So like there's the general idea, and then we can have our little tiny wings. And bring in our hair. We got like a big fluff going on here. It goes to the center of the chest and wraps around the side of the head and kind of connects in with the face. So we are big, we are fluffy. Very furry. I think that works a lot better for baby mode. We do need our little paw bits here, because these are still gonna kind of come in from under the arms. We still want our little Rex hands. Like we'll play around with like a cleaner design in a minute, but like this proportionally looks a lot better. Accuracy wise, it's kind of ass, but we're gonna steal some of these chibi Monster Hunter designs as reference. Why haven't I just set this to remember? Oh, that is huge. I'm just gonna shrink that. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at. Is like, yeah, you see the bigger eyes, you see the bigger ear, like the rounder ears, the more snubbed face, with a more cutesy mouth, as compared to like what Zinogre regularly looks like. Just scroll up here and find that pixelated Monster Hunter post again. Where was it? Oh no, if I lost it, I lost the plot. Oh man, I was looking at this one. Oh, here it is. No? No, it's not off this one. It is below this though. It's somewhere around here. No, that's not it. Huh. Oh, damn. Oh, here it is. I use these as inspiration and reference. So I'm looking at this and just like, just kind of seeing how the proportions line up. It's like a big head, smaller wings. Like the tails are a little bit more exaggerated, and like so are the feet. The feet seem kind of chunky. It's like it makes sense. It's like we've got this going on now. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what we started with for baby mode. Look like a goblin, little gremlin creature. Kind of dig it. It does look weird because I'm looking at that like it's one nostril. No, that's supposed to be the whole nose. Excuse me. think we can work with this. I think I need to make the arms thicker. That might be one of the things I do to just kind of balance out the design a little more. As you look at the Zenogre, his arms are kind of chunky, a little stubby, but kind of chunky. So we might keep him kind of stubby, but make him chunkier. Which means we might have to lower the torso a little for this sitting pose. So like this one, the layer 2 pose is definitely more elegant. Like I'd say this is probably the adolescent baby mode. And this is what, not the monster mode, but like this is what an adult version of Yumei would look like if she never became humanoid. Which, I'm going to keep this, because I'm actually really digging that idea. I think that would be really neat. It's like, maybe we add, like, a 5th mode. It's like, I want the hybrid that's, like, humanoid monstrous. We got the humanoid baby, and then the full monster mode. And, like, this can be monster mode light. I don't know. I like the pose. I like the design. The super deformed kind of chibi style is definitely what I want to try first. We might come back to that. That might just end up being baby mode. We'll figure it out. We will learn. Alright, how to go about this. Well, I want to rename this layer. Kind of jam it to the bottom. So that's the least important of these layers. In fact, I'll keep this one too, just because this is like the design sketch. Layer 2 can just be deleted. Right, so this is like there we go. So we've got like Chibi's proportion sketch. This gives me an idea of like how everything needs to be, and we're gonna muck around with this. Oh, that's not the pen. I'm gonna muck around with this and kind of make the arms a little chunkier. Like, oh, big chunky arms. And big old chunky feet. Yeah, that actually does look a lot better, just making those chunkier. I want to kind of muck around with this a little bit. I think we do this and then that, and just kind of... maybe not. Let's erase this so it looks kind of like it's curved in, maybe. Looks like that comes out, and then this comes into here, which comes out to there. I guess. We'll figure out the wing a little more in depth as we move forward. But for now, I'm quite happy with this. We need to make the hair fluffier, though. Like this whole thing kind of comes to like a V shape here as it all connects into each other. Like the hair connects into the mane, and we got like the big fluff bit on the crotch because it's going to follow the tail. And the tail is going to be really fluffy around here till about the midsection, and you got like the 3 snake eyeballs. So we're keeping those. In fact, as I was talking about the monster mode earlier, we might just have those run along the entire tail. That'd be freaky looking. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, sorry. I've been up since like 7 in the morning, which is early for me because I'm not usually asleep till like 3. had a weird dream. Not even dream. It was like I woke up at a normal time for my alarm. And I was like, I don't want to get out of bed. So I'm browsing. I was like, I'm still tired. And I fall asleep for like another 2 hours. And in that time period, I just had a weird dream. It was like, it's in a lighthouse. It wasn't a very big one, but it was a lighthouse, more or less. It was like on a craggy rock. And you had the stairs coming down from it. That's more or less what I remember. It wasn't big, but was in the middle of a field. Which is just weird. Even weirder than that, the whole field. Like there was a road that ran through the field, like just out front near this. So I think it was supposed to be like my aunt's property down in the States. It's like they've got like not a well-maintained road. It's like, it's paved, but not great. It's like an old paved road or something like that. And it's like, they've just got field all around their property, and then it's just woods surrounding the field. So it's like, yeah, these big fucking trees everywhere. Just obscuring the horizon line. It's like, it was weird. I was there with like I think there's definitely one other person. There might have been a third. I know one of them was my ex. Which is weird because I haven't seen her in like, God, how long has it been? Really should talk with her again. We stayed friends after the breakup. Like, there's no feelings or anything there anymore. It's just, I haven't spoken with a good friend of mine in a long time, and it was weird to see her in a dream. It's like I don't remember what we were doing, but it was like always twilight, like not quite nighttime, but still dark enough that you needed a flashlight to like really see everything. Twilight's not the right, it's dusk. And then it's like, there were some cows out in the field. It's like, there's no fence or anything. It's like, because the field's kind of divided into two sections. It's like, there's the maintained, like, lawn part of the field. And then there's the field. And there's kind of divided by, like, a small creek. Or river. Stream, whatever you want to call it. Creek. And on the other side of that it was a cow. I don't know what it was up with that cow. It was like a big black cow. And something looked off about it, and then we went into the lighthouse, and we're muttering in there, and then I start hearing stuff outside. This might be why I thought there was 3 people. So I was going into this tangent. I was like, the cows were talking like people, but not people. It's like, almost like when a parrot mimics a person talking, but like more cow vocalization rather than bird. So it's like less squawking, more bellowing. It was a weird dream. I woke up after that. It's just kind of stuck on my mind because it's like, I don't get dreams very often. So when I do, it's like, oh, that's neat. This one just was weird. Alright, so let's work on these proportions, I think, is what we really need to do. Oh, I'm still tired. Keep yawning. Downed an energy drink to help combat the side effects of my meds, and it's not really helping. Oh well. I'm getting distracted again. I'll stop doing that. Like, I want to get at least a basic sketch of this done before the end of stream. This, and then it just kind of flows all the way around the head, and like that. And then we've got this lock that kind of does that, and then this one that kind of does that. This that kind of pulls all the way down here. And that is more or less my hair done. And that's our differentiation from the face and the horn in that. And it's like this horn's still gonna be covered. This ear's still gonna be covered. And we'll add in more detail to the hair as we go. It's like, I want to get the ahoge that I've got going on in there, the layering. This is just the shape. And then, even then, that's not quite right. I think I want this line to carry up into there, and then this curls down like that. So then we have the neck. Get rid of this line. It doesn't look quite right. I think it's just this line in particular needs to be adjusted. Up, out, and then nice and fluffed around. There we go. That's better. I was like hair into mane, and then I just gotta like clean up this section. Yeah, that's better. I think part of this is the music. It's very relaxing music. Making me a little tired. Alright, that's a little scuffed, but that's fine. That really does bring the shape around correctly. Just continue that with the... Oh, well, you know, it probably would help if I turn the stabilizer back on. It's like if we just kind of follow with the arm. Give us a big honking foot. Do the same over here. I've got the crotch fluff here. I'm not sure if that's stopping in the right spot. I think I need to... Oh, shit. I didn't mean to get rid of that line. So this needs to come out a little more and then in kind of sharp. There to there, and then there to there. Yeah, that looks about right. And we've got the hind leg here. And then we've got the big bit of fluff here. And then we've got the whole tail. And then the tail fluff. With the big ol' eyes. We can individually refine these as time goes on. This is like layer 2 of sketch. Got our little... I want wings. I don't know if they should be like bat wings or feathered. that is a design decision that I have to make, so we'll leave that for now and work a little more on the head. So we've still got a very rounded head. That is not angled enough. Kind of like that. Just want to... I need to do it from the other angle. Yeah, that kind of works. Then we've got a big old peeper. Okay, maybe not that big. Still big old peeper. And then we've got our snoot. And our mouth. So like that's gonna go here, and we want to go up, down, and then up. Not quite. Up, down, up. Just kind of follow suit there. We just minimize that. This is really scuffed looking, but it's getting the shape language across, which is what I want. That looks a lot closer to these than this. Kind of look like a frog. It's just how smooth everything is, which I'm not a fan of, but that's fine. Ugh. Yawning. Alright, let's get these horns in. Round the horns more this time. And have both in baby mode. No. I mean, yes and no. In baby form, Yumei had 2 horns, but now it is just the one. So we should reflect that in this drawing. And we're not going to add in like all the little horn details, but we are going to give you the second horn because that's kind of important to the design. I'm not going to give like all the little ones, but the 2 big ones. We've got our big old rounded ears, which are going to have their own bit of fluff on them. And that already does look a lot better. We're going to bring our side up like that. And then our little goober hands need to be shown here. I think we'll just do little round fingery things for now. And we'll figure it out a little more from there when it comes to the full design, because I'm not sure I like how those sit there in particular. I might have to lower them a little. Everything here just needs to kind of shift around a little more, but I wanted a cleaner sketch to work off of. But we're going to take a quick break from drawing to go look at some wings. And not the food. We are looking at like wings. It's like when you think about wings, it's like it's usually feathered. And that like just look at a flying monster. Like bat wings, more reptilian is definitely popular for monsters. Interesting. Nargacuga definitely is giving like unique vibes. Same with Legiana. It's like I like that. I want something different, is what I'm saying. Is like, I don't want this a bat wing or a bird wing. Something else in its construction. Monster Hunter is definitely a good reference for fairly unique wing designs. It's like they're all a little similar, but like it's very different to like just a standard dragon wing or a standard bird wing. A lot of these pictures aren't helping me have any inspiration either. The only thing that's come close is Legiana. It's like, it doesn't... I don't need anything super fancy. I just want something more unique. I don't want just like a big skin flap either, like Salamence. It's hard to think of a design outside of that that kind of fits with this this aesthetic. It all comes back to Monster Hunter. Let's go look at their wiki. Let's see. So I kind of just want a list of things with wings in Monster Hunter. Just to take a look. What the hell is a Charmine? Charaman? Oh, that's just a weird looking Gypceros. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's like odd. State, Aberrant, Abigaru, Abyssal, Afflicted, Atolica, Acnesom, maybe? Acnesom's got an interesting design going on with its like layered wings. It's a lot though. I don't know how well that would translate. It's definitely a step in the right direction though. Amatsu kind of has like those flesh wings going on. They're just big chunks. Which I mean makes sense for an Elder Dragon, but not for what I want. Anjanath doesn't fly. Which I mean, that doesn't really matter, but like, Australian? You don't have wings at all. But I've never heard your name, so I had to look at you. Epioth, Garudia. Okay, that's an interesting looking wing. It's at least a very unique shape. I guess that's more so what I'm looking for is like shape language. It's like Batwing's basically just a big M. It's like you see it in the drawing, and it's just it doesn't look interesting. Farunoku. That's just another bird. Espinasse, Forokuru. That could be something fun to play around with. Okay, I think what we need to do is... I've got a few ideas now, just cause like it's shape language. Shape language is what I want. So if we... I'm just going to quickly make a new layer so I'm not drawing on this. Wait, why is layer 6 different? Oh, because this is the like line clean version. Okay, so like Let's turn off the stabilizer. This can be scuffed as I want it to be. So typically a wing is kind of like this. And like when you have a bat wing, it's more like this. And it's like there's the connection point. Goes in, out, and up. And like you got a little fingery bit there, and that's a bat wing. And a bird wing is more like this, and like usually a little bit more divided at the tips, and a little bit at the bottom. And we got like a bit of feathering up here too. So that's a bird wing. It's very basic. Okay, what did I do there? Oh, you know, it's probably that. I just wanted to delete this layer. There we go. It's like, what I was seeing there is something a bit more interesting in its shape language. Like a little tassel or something down here. It's like, oh, okay, so we are now kind of mixing two different mythological creatures together. Let's think about this a bit more fluidity. Fluidity? Either way. So we've got the Chimera, which we've locked in as snake, lion, ungulate, or goat, or something along those lines. Some sort of hooved and horned creature. So, and if we're taking inspiration from a sphinx for the more monstrous form, we should probably look into real-world birds. So, let's just look at some weird-looking bird wings. Maybe we'll find something interesting here. Okay, that's Watson or reptile bird. I don't know if it's just the pose it has there, but that's very interesting. It's like, bring it down here. I'll just copy and paste it as a reference image. Here, that's a Hotson. Hotson? Hotson? I think it's a Hotson. That's how it's pronounced. It's a very interesting looking wing. It's like very skinny and then it gets very wide. It's like the arm and then the arm and then boom. It's really wide. And it kind of gets skinny again. Apparently this thing has like claws or something. I'm not entirely certain. I was like, I don't want to look at weird looking birds. I mean, there are a lot of birds that just look weird, but like... I like this one too. It's a very exaggerated tail. So what if we add in something like this kind of in the middle? It's like... That's what I'm looking at right now, is a different bird's tail. I'm hitting things with my mouse. It's like a lot of bird wings are pretty much the same, which I mean makes sense. You don't want to change too much towards your locomotion. It's like there's obvious differences between species in like the roundness or how angular they are. And depending on what the intent is for flight. It's like long distance flyers have very different wings than like tree hoppers, I almost want to call them. It's like they'll just bounce from like perch to perch. There's nothing here that's like really standing out to me. Just keep getting pictures of like planes and dinosaurs and shit. Which I mean, yeah, I guess those are weird looking birds. Yeah, a plane's a pretty weird looking bird. There's just a lot of strange pictures of birds themselves as opposed to like the actual wingspan of a bird. So that's what I want to look at. I'm going to play around with those aesthetics. I think I've talked myself into an answer. Thinking back on it, is like, what is the purpose of the wing? Long distance or tree hopper? It's like, what would be the purpose in this creature? It's a predator. So it should be like more... let's look at some birds of prey. Like raptors specifically. Let's look at how their wings are. This is a good picture of them. Okay, so raptors all kind of have a similar wing structure. Like it's feathered, obviously, and I'm gonna play around with like feathering and that. It's like, why did you do that? To hop into here. So it's like a lot of the raptor wings kind of pull forward at first and then swoop down. Kind of like this. And then either are rounded all the way down. No, there's a bit of a like a notch. As like this section kind of bulges out, and then so does this section. And then it's a bit different on how they're connected, because like some have a point, others have like these big, almost finger-like feathers. In fact, a lot of them have that like finger-like spread. It's just how exaggerated is it? So it'd be like this, I guess. So we'd probably only want to do like 2 or 3 of those to really... that's part of the idea of SD or chibi, is exaggerating certain features. So if we were to do this, the wing... how a bird wing works is you kind of got an arm here and then out and then down. So like if we were to fold this up, it would be kind of down, up, and then way down. And then we can work off of our like weird little lumps that we drew. Like we got a big one there and a big one there, and then we got like 3 big fingers. And we just kind of round this shape out. Like even then, it's like this almost. So pull that up, and then pull that up, and then kind of do it again here. And then do it one more time over here. It's like that would be the tucked in wing, kind of. I think I want to play around with the tip a little more. It's like if we follow the line, this should be like the first feather. Well, it's like that one should be like that, and then this one should be kind of behind it, and this one should be behind that one. Kind of like that. It still doesn't look quite right, but it's better. Let's look at some other pictures here. We might be able to get something. It's looking at a very peculiar spot on the bird. So we might even just like round it off. Just use this as our exaggerated design. So it would be kind of... go back to the proportion sketch and erase this wing. We can kind of... it would be like down and then up here and then down again, but it wouldn't... we'd make it big but not huge. and just kind of pull it in. A bit of an oblong shape. And more or less do the same on this side. But it would kind of hide behind the tail, so it would just be looking like that. I think that gives the aesthetic we want. We can erase paint layer 7 again. The question is, do we want thumbs? I think the answer is yes. We want like a little hook claw thing going on, because like I said earlier with our base design sketch, I think they're still here, yeah, like this is gonna have, the wing arm is gonna have like actual grabby hands on it. So I think we do want to put like a little thumb claw sticking off this thing. No, we were on the wrong layer. Let me put a little thumb claw sticking off. It doesn't need to be super detailed, but like that. It gives the implication that there is something there. That's what matters. I'll have to clean up the design a little more as we go. But I'm very much happy with this for now. We've got a nice fluffy mane. Got the big old flappy wings. Very simple design, but it works. I'm not super thrilled with the shape language on those, but I'll make some concessions here and there for my own sanity. It's a good excuse to just look at some stuff. I'm feeling pretty tired and also very, very hungry, so I think I'm going to cut this early a bit. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours, and I've had a yogurt cup today. Have I eaten anything else? I know I went downstairs again, but I don't think I actually got anything. Yeah, no, I've only had a yogurt cup to eat today, so we're going to call it here. And I'm going to go get some dinner. Thank you for watching this video, or my stream. I don't know how people are watching it. You're either watching it post-stream, or you watched parts of it here or there. Thank you for being here, and I hope you're enjoying my rambling. I hope you have a good night. We will be streaming again on the